and welcome to Edge Time. Today we've got a couple of knives from Harbor Freight, and these are ones that I always just sort of looked over. I knew that I knew that Harbor Freight had them, but I just always thought of them as being very cheap, very poorly made. But I decided today was the day we're going to find out just how cheaply made they actually are. And I have a feeling that I'm actually going to be a little bit surprised about these because I noted in the store that this one does say that it is riding on ball bearings, and looking into the pivot, it does certainly look that way. This one does not advertise it, but this one is actually riding on bronze washers. So I figured I'd give both of these a try. This one costs $7 or $8, and this one costs $10. So we're going to compare these two and see how they hold up. I'm not going to be doing any torture testing or anything like that today. I'm just going to basically see how the action is out of the box, see how sharp they come, and stuff like that. And in case anyone doesn't know, I think that most everyone watching this probably knows this, but most of the things sold at Harbor Freight are made by Harbor Freight. So, for example, Gordon is not a brand. That's just a sub brand of Harbor Freight proper. There are very few things sold at Harbor Freight that are actually their own company. So, like, for example, Gorilla Tape, stuff like that, Rust-Oleum products, those are obviously real brands, but most everything else sold at Harbor Freight is home brand, which is fine because they do an excellent job with a lot of their products. The Icon brand is great. Even most of the tools at Harbor Freight are actually pretty decent, and I've heard a lot of stories of people breaking name brand expensive tools and then going to Harbor Freight and getting the cheapest thing there, and it solves the problem. So that's obviously not going to always be the case. I wouldn't trust one of these knives over my bug out, for example, but certain things like if you need a budget tool that will perform usually just fine for the task at hand, Harbor Freight is usually a good place to look. So there's my quick plug for Harbor Freight, and I'm not sponsored or endorsed in any way by Harbor Freight. I just do like the store and like what they do. So without further ado, let's get into these two Harbor Freight knives. Let's get these opened up here. This is one of my homemade knives. I always hate opening blister packages like this because when you're trying to open them, you have a choice either to try to cut into the back of the cardboard and then not be certain where your blade's going to come through, or cut into the plastic and risk chipping your edge on whatever you're opening or messing up the product. So yeah, I definitely do not like blister packaging, but we're going to try it out. This might take a few moments. I might speed this up once I get the video edited. So I'll probably need to. That's what I'm talking about. Just knocked the tip of my knife against the thumb stud there. There we go. Usually when you're opening blister packs, you don't have to go all the way around. Usually just part of the way around will work. But this one is going to be a pain because there is, of course, a pocket clip. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get that free. Probably just going to have to go ahead and cut all the way around the plastic here. And try not to prematurely mess up the edge on this thing. Alright, most of the way through. There we go. So now I should just be able to pull this out of here. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, so here is the cheaper knife. I'm not going to close it yet. I'm actually going to open this one first, and then we can compare the actions of these two. to go. So there's the second one. All right. So there we go. There are both of our knives out of the package. Make sure I didn't scratch this thing up. Nope, looks okay. So, set everything to the side here, and let's see how the actions are on these things. Alright, so we'll start with the frame lock. Okay, so that's to be expected. It's not wanting to... Oh, there we go. Flew right open that time. So, what I can see here, the craftsmanship, if that is the term that you want to use, is okay. There's a little bit of weird stuff going on here, a little bit of some grinding marks here. It is indeed on bronze washers. It does not look like it has been oiled whatsoever, and I will be taking both of these apart and seeing if maintenance is possible on these. Not sure yet, we'll just have to see. But action on this one is okay from the thumb flick. Flipper's non-existent, but I think I could probably improve that by taking it apart, oiling it, and it'll get better with break-in as well. That's pretty stiff. All right, and we'll go ahead and do a sharpness test here. My fingers are calloused, so it's kind of difficult to feel how sharp it is, but we'll go and do a paper test here. Okay, not bad. There's a little bit of a bind at that point. Try it again here. Okay, so not bad. It'll cut paper. It's a little rough, but it's not terrible. Let's find my strop here. Run it over the strop a few times and see just if we can improve that edge just a little bit. It feels good. It feels perfectly usable, and it does feel like a little bit of a stropping here would bring that edge right back. And for most daily use that you're actually going to be putting your knives through, at least the daily use that I put my knives through, all I really need is a good stropping every once in a while. And my knives stay very, very sharp. Now, if I've been cutting a lot of cardboard or something like that, yeah, I'll probably get out the diamond and sharpen a little bit. But most of the time, stropping will do the trick. Let's see how that works now. I think that's a little bit better. That's definitely better. So yeah, it comes with a good usable edge straight out of the box. This one is like, what does this say? 3CR? Yes, 3CR13 stainless. So not a super steel by any stretch of the imagination, just a normal working steel. One thing that I could see being a potential issue, and I'll try this out, is oftentimes with tip down carry, and if you have a high profile thumb stud like this that sticks way out and you are carrying tip down, oftentimes that will actually catch on your pocket and open. So I'm going to try that out real fast off camera here. Okay, so this one does not do that. That might change once it gets smoother, but for now it does not do that annoying thing where when you stick it into your pocket, it opens on its own. So, alright, enough about that one. Let's try out the action on this guy. Okay, yeah, I can tell it's way smoother right off the bat. Wow, even a reverse flick. That's actually quite impressive. The blade is filthy from manufacturing, but we can change that. Wow, that laser engraving is burnt, but that's okay. This is the $10 one. This is not the $40 Icon knife, which I will probably try to get my hands on one of these days. A funny thing here is Harbor Freight calls this a composite handle. I believe this is G10. It's either G10 or the grippiest fiberglass reinforced nylon I've ever felt, but I'm almost certain this is G10. It just has that feel to it. So they're kind of underselling themselves there a little bit. But there's like a weird rattle going on in here. I think it's just probably cheap ball bearings, but I'm going to also take this one apart, see if we can fix that a little bit. But yeah, right off the bat, action is way better than the paraframe here, fake paraframe. Obviously, not actual Gerber paraframe. Although, I have to say, if I was going to buy a skeletonized knife, I might buy this over the Gerber paraframe just because this is cheaper and pretty much the same thing. I know that people who love the paraframe will be angered by that, but maybe I'll get a paraframe one day and check it out. But I just don't have a need for one. Yeah, so action seems pretty decent. Let's go ahead and measure these. The box is... Oh, totally bonked my camera there. All right. So for the $10 one, it says 2.9-inch blade, and for the skeletonized one, it says 3-inch blade. So let's see how accurate that is here. Come on. Stiff. All right, so we do indeed have 3 inches of blade stock length here, and about the same of cutting edge length. There's, because this is measured, the blade stock length is measured from the further forwardmost point here on the handle, and so that comes up right about to the edge. So yeah, it has about 3 inches of blade stock length and cutting edge length. I'm really curious to see if I can make this flipper usable, because I think that'd be neat to have this one as a flipper. And then this one, yeah, that's about 2.9 inches. So yeah, close, very close. And I'm going to compare them to a couple of other knives here. So here's the 2.9-inch, the 3-inch, and then we'll go ahead and get out a Para 3 lightweight and a bug out. So pretty comparable size here. In fact, these two are about the exact same open length as the Para 3. Bug out's a little bit longer, but yes, that's a pretty good overall size comparison. I'm not going to do any others. These are sort of flagships, so pretty much everyone, or a lot of people know what size a bug out is and know how it feels in the hand, and yeah, so there we go. Wow, there's a heck of a bind there. I'm gonna have to see if I can fix that. Let's go ahead and get these things taken apart real fast. Is there anything? Oh yes, that is one thing I have not done, is tested the sharpness of this one. It feels sharper than, oh yeah, it's definitely far sharper. And this one is 8CR13 MOV, so not surprising. Yeah, this one is razor sharp. That's very impressive. I don't even need to strop that right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can take these things apart. All these body screws look like T6 to me. Oh, a little bit of play there within that screw. That might actually be a T7 or T8. We'll see. There's a 9 and 10. Might need that for the pivot. Not sure yet. Alright, so we've got a T8 here. I'm going to see if these are T8. Nope. Those are probably just straight T6. I don't know if I have a T7 in this driver. Does not look like it. We'll try the T6. It's probably T6. Probably just a not very well made T6. Yeah, this one feels a little bit better. But we'll go and start with the skeletonized one because I think it'll actually be a little bit easier. So we'll go ahead and, as always, start with the clip. Yep, that's tight. That is most likely Loctited in there. There we go. Loctited. That is a verb. Alright. Yeah. Sticky Loctite. That pivot screw is a T6. I don't like that. Oh, and it's tight too. Does not seem to be captive. No, it's not captive. So what we'll do is we'll open this blade up and hold pressure against it. This one might not be coming apart because that pivot is not, oh yeah, and that screw is not behaving itself too. It's kind of wanting to strip out. All right, so yeah, that is stripped out on the Titan, completely stripped out. as in like on the tightening motion. So we're not going to be disassembling this one, but that is okay. We'll just see if we can free up that action a little bit externally. So this one is not disassemblable, if that is a word. You'll just have to sort of live with the way it is, which is not. I mean, that's not terrible for a $7 knife. Kind of wished I could have disassembled it, but as it is, it'll be okay for a throwaway knife. But we'll go ahead and try out the more expensive one here, slightly more expensive. Start with the clip. These screws are coming out way easier. Maybe not. These are also, oh, there we go. This one's coming out for me. It's really always a complete gamble whether or not you'll actually be able to get a budget knife apart. I'll get that screw out here in a minute. Oh yeah. Yep, I do not like the construction of these cheaper knives where they use just uncaptive spacers like this. Oh yeah, that screw's toast as well. Well, is it though? Yeah, that screw is toast. Either that or it's actually a T7. I'm going to look and see if I have a T7. I don't think I do. Here's a T8. Bear with me for a moment here whilst I hunt for a T7. This could potentially be one, and it is not. Okay, so what I will probably have to do is wait for a T7 to magically come in from Amazon, and then I will probably try to post a disassembly of this knife if I can. I'm not sure if these are actually T7 or if these are just the most horribly made T6 ever, but there is a lot of play in those. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the pocket clip on, and I'm going to give both these knives just a little bit of oil and see if those pivots loosen up at all. This one does have a 4-position adjustable pocket clip, which is a little bit nicer than this one, which is literally just here. Okay. So let's just get a little bit of oil into this one. Probably a bit much, but we'll see if that helps at all. And I may have to play with this pivot just a little bit. It's sort of a weird pivot design. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, getting there. Getting almost to a flippable tightness. Yeah, we'll let that one on its own for a little bit and add a little bit of oil to this one. See if we can take that bind away. You could probably hear it through the camera, the grating noise that's in there. The action is definitely way better than this one, but still not the best. But these are both very, very inexpensive knives from Harbor Freight, so it's not surprising that can't really take them apart. The action isn't great on them, but they both came reasonably sharp. And I would say if you needed a knife and you were already in Harbor Freight, these would probably not be a terrible deal. But I would, if you could, try to go to Walmart instead and get the $10 Walmart crossbar lock knife, which I'd say is far better than either of these. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. This has been a quick overview of these two knives from Harbor Freight, and I would say my final take for now on them is avoid unless you have to get them. If you have to get them, then they'll probably be okay, but there are definitely much better knives out there. I was probably a little too optimistic about these when I saw that this one is riding on bronze washers and that this one is on ball bearings. And yeah, have to say, a little bit disappointed that you can't take them apart, but yeah, probably shouldn't have expected anything more than this out of a Harbor Freight knife. So with that, I will probably be coming out with a more formal knife review this weekend, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day.